जो मैंने 27 साल में किया, 28 साल में जो कॉर्पोरेट में किया, उसी ही की सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है जो सारे यंग जो बडिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, चाहे वो स्टार्टअप्स हैं या मिड साइज़ कंपनीज़ हैं या स्मॉल साइज़ कंपनीज़ हैं, तो मैं उनके साथ क्यों नहीं काम करूं और उनको क्यों नहीं डेवलप करूं। उनमें से कुछ मेरा ड्रीम है वो कि उनमें से मैंने यदि किसी को कुछ को ग्रो किया, उनको कॉर्पोरेट बनाया, उनमें से कुछ ऐसे स्टार्टअप्स हैं जो यूनिकॉर्न हुए, तो दैट विल बी माई से द बिगेस्ट सक्सेस, और मेरी वो विश है।
I wouldn't lie and say this is the first time talking to you. अब हमारी लास्ट वीक की बात हुई थी, काफ़ी अच्छी लॉन्ग कॉन्वर्जेशन. Firstly, thank you for being here, Dinesh ji.
You are most welcome.
But just to begin with, ex-CFO of Wizcraft, now running his own company, very, very different. Like, people at your age are looking to venture into things that are easing out, but you chose to take a challenge and settle in the new world of business in entertainment, events, music, etc. Right? I want to know from you, how are you feeling about it firstly? How is this like revival of your whole journey and starting from a very new, I wouldn't say new beginning, but having so much experience and at the same time trying to do something that's the same but for a modern world?
Thank you for inviting me for this. And for this purpose, if you see, every professional has a dream and always have a dream, okay, what to do. During my corporate journey of for so many years, I did and headed the corporate positions in at senior most levels. So it was always an idea कि okay, what to do next and everything. And during that process, I always felt and identified you have certain category of corporates where, in the absence of right financial advice and handholding, they are not able to say grow beyond a point. And that actually particular aspect say moved me कि okay, I should do something, and can I use my all experience and exposure what I have and what I have earned during this corporate period and use that for the benefit of these corporates. So at one point of time you need to, as you have said कि okay, at my age people start thinking okay of planning their retirements and everything. I chose a different path, and of course a difficult path of moving on, say from a corporate senior position employee, high paying job, to again starting from scratch and starting a journey which is going to be tough. And incidentally it started at a time when the COVID was say hit the entire world and everyone was facing this challenge. And I chose कि okay, stop getting my fixed income and starting a journey. So it was really, really awesome, and I did that in that period, and I'm really finding it very interesting art. And other aspect what you said कि okay about this industry and everything. So for this past 11 years of experience when I was heading Wizcraft, so I have seen this industry very closely and worked at the senior position. And my nature is not always to work as just a finance head and CFO. Literally, unless until you understand a business, you can't do it justice to the position and as well as to the company. And I did that thing while doing say this justice and the same exposure and experience. And incidentally, because of this 11 years of experience, most of the clients to whom I am serving at the moment through my company YCBA still are from the media entertainment. It's not like okay, it is only media entertainment, but most of the clients are from the same industry. So it is again a privilege where I am using that experience and providing the services to them.
Understood. So again, I think I got down to the main substance of it very quick. I want to take it a little slow and just move a few years before. Like I want to know more about how you started your journey and how things were different back then, right? Before, obviously, you leading a company's vertical at a level as big as Wizcraft is like obviously the major chunk of your experience. But I want to know how the journey which you started with is way different than what people are doing right now.
Okay. Again, so I'll take back a few steps, say years even before Wizcraft for this. So I'm became a qualified chartered accountant in 1993.
Wow.
And thereafter, say this journey started without having any background of any professional. Incidentally, I was the first professional in my family. and in the known people, where very rarely people used to know कि, okay, what this chartered accountant means. So we were from that family, and most of the people say at that time used to feel very happy कि, okay, you have a cozy government job and everything, so that will be a good thing for you. But I chose a path where say I was always feeling okay, being a professional and doing something at a larger scale can do good for you. And the initial stage of my career itself, I got opportunity for the government jobs also. And somehow it doesn't give me that fascination. I said, I don't think it is my cup of tea. And for that purpose, though I got flake from but my parents were very supportive. But parents, friends, the near relatives and everyone, they saying, how can you leave these kind of good job and offer and everything, and still you want to pursue as a professional career, etc. But one thing was very sure at that time, coming from a very humble family and a small town. The idea was कि okay, without having any professional background and etc. So I choose a path कि okay, first let me go to the corporate world and say whatever I can earn or learn during that process. So I started with journey, and in that journey, say I worked with the manufacturing companies, worked with say services companies. So it pan across so many industries. Like if we talk about manufacturing, so it is from automobile industries, the tire manufacturing, the cotton yarn manufacturing, steel manufacturing, to say FMCG company. All that I during that process did it. And in services, from finance companies, the financial companies, to real estate, and ultimately then this media entertainment where I worked the last. So that actually give a very vast exposure of working, where you know the nitty-gritty of the businesses, and you know okay, how. And incidentally, one more thing, just I want to add it over here. When I was fortunate enough to have that thing, okay, from the very initial stage of my career, I got the opportunity to work at the highest positions. It was not just because of my capabilities. Maybe God is very kind enough कि okay, I got opportunity to head those departments where the people, those who are working under me, were much more senior to me in age and everything. But somehow that developed the leadership qualities कि okay, how to handle such typical or conditional, say tough conditions, and how to work along with the promoters and the owners of the company, and how to take those businesses and challenges to resolve them and then take the organization forward. So that really helped me in a big way.
The later years in your life, in your career, I'm sure was shaped during this time, right?
Yes, it was really very tough. And these 11 years, what I spent in Wizcraft, did again rest all the industries. Most of the industries are very, you can say, recognized industries, whether it is automobile, whether it is textile, very structured. But all of a sudden you are coming to an industry which is very unorganized and still at a very nascent stage.
I mean, even during today's time, I can say the entertainment or the media business is the least organized compared to the more larger industrial sectors. And during that time, I can't even imagine what it must be. Firstly, like before we enter that media and entertainment side of things for you, what I see is early on you did have the appetite to take risk and took those challenges which were against, like I realized like how there's obviously societal pressure, there's a family pressure. I'm sure at some point they were like, okay, by this age you should get you should have a fixed income because you might have to look forward to marriage, etc, etc. There's so many things, right, when you're growing up. During that time especially, in the 90s, I can't even believe how it must have been for you. So what made you take that risk?
So that again, and one more biggest risk during this time, if you see, today the accessibility of information is there.
Yes.
That is one biggest factor.
Yeah, that's a big factor.
That was a time, and incidentally, our generation, we have seen and evidenced all those transitions. those, I'll say the revolution, so many revolution, whether it is IT revolution, whether it is banking revolution, all those we have seen.
2001, the internet
Correct.
bubble. That's
Yeah,
like
so the internet thing, you start from say our time when we started this journey, or when I started this career, there were no computers. When we were doing our training, etc., we used to do manual totaling. That was a thing.
maintaining manual ledgers
Yes,
and
yes. So I have seen during my training period, I have seen where the manual books were there, and we have audited those books. So from that era to this era, so we are really fortunate to see all those changes. Today's kids or the young generation, they do, after some time they won't know कि okay, had there been a such kind of situation or not. But we have gone through those situation and say passed through and then realized कि okay, the difference between those situation and today's situation. So it is really a very, but I always feel कि it is, we are blessed. I never say कि okay, we have seen those toughness, difficulties. I always feel कि okay, all these were challenges, and we came out much better person, as a solution provider, because we have seen those toughness. And or the new generation with our experience should not go through those kind of phases, and that should be as a what we want to give to our next generation and to the society. That should be our endeavor always. They should not feel those challenges, and we should give them a better say solutions and the better environment where they can work upon.
of course, I think that's a given with like the years of experience, and beyond the experience, years of life that you've had.
True.
Right? Like I can't even imagine the things people must have gone through just to access information before the internet.
Correct.
So that is, I think, one of the main things that I wonder how, like what I'm doing today, obviously my business fully around the internet, I would say, but if I had been doing something, let's say, for example, events, right? I can't even imagine like how longer, let's say it takes me 10 minutes to work on something which is going to make my experience possible. It would have taken at least a few days to,
Yes.
so to have those patience during
True.
that time. And again, like one of the main things like I realized when I met you for the first time, which was like last week, I can see in your face like how your positive attitude and you are a very patient person in general. I can see it in your face, and I just wish even a little bit of it is something that I or even people around me, like we want to push and like always want to have so much pace. I can't even imagine, like you're saying you've had these 30-40 years of experience. Like right now, if I have to look back at even the last few years since I've been working, I feel like it's taken me so long to do something that I'm doing right now. So I think patience is a key factor that people need to maintain. And obviously looking at your journey, I get that inspiration to like, okay, at some level you have to see a growth chart and you can only connect the dots looking backwards, right? So initially what kept you going towards like, did you ever have an ambition of doing what you've done today? Or
Honestly, no ambition. But I always feel, I believe in the power of karmas. And rest everything falls upon. Because once you say and you, because I feel I go with the flow. Like again, from a very humble background, from a very I'll say कि okay, from a say parents, those were having good reputation, but at the same time very say will not say कि very filthy rich family.
Okay.
Government servants, you can say कि okay, for them the biggest challenge was कि okay, to get your siblings or your kids educated. That was their dream, and having one house. And that again, I always feel and say कि God is really kind and given much more than what I deserve actually. I always feel that thing, yeah. And rest everything, so because fixing the targets and everything, say sometime give you say maybe anxiety, sometime maybe depression, but I feel कि okay, I want to go with the flow. I have something in my mind, but I say कि okay, that those things, because the word is the situation and condition are too dynamic. It changes, and it changes very fast. So if you are focused on your work and everything, it will take you ultimately to that end. That is my learning and experience, and that keep you humble also. At the same time, very focused on one attempt. Sometimes people got dilution, say sometimes they get diluted. They are confused what to do. If they decide this, that, or what need to be done. And sometimes they say, feel कि okay, I am nowhere where I am getting. And in that process, they actually say forget or sometimes ignore what they are being meant for. Every person is not there to be a doctor or chartered accountant or a sports personality. So as a parents or as a peer or as a say whosoever you advised, sometimes people comes to me with their kids etc. What you want to advise and everything. And first of all, you ask your child what he want to do, and this is one of the biggest thing which again I'll say most of the parents are not doing. They are going to the counselors and everything.
I would agree.
Because they are just wanting in this materialistic world. They just want somehow ki, okay, my say child or something should be a big name, have a big name or big money or something. But the journey, it is a journey, and you need to identify ki, okay, what you are meant for. Some quality is being given by the say this almighty to everyone. We need to identify, we need to look within and identify ki, okay, what is that quality that person has, and we nurture that quality into him. Some may be a very good singer, some may be a good, very good say writer or sports personality, or maybe a professional. But if we put a professional person to, okay, you need to do acting, how he will do it?
Absolutely.
So that is also very important in this journey.
Yeah, one of the key things I take back from a lot of the conversations I have with seniors, like people with a lot of experience, is there's faith always, like be it whatever religion. If you have faith, it's always going to help you go through your journey.
Correct.
Because it's an unpresent or like unseen force which is always with you.
Correct.
Some sort of subconscious
That's
belief, right?
That's right. And you have touched again a very, say, like my favorite topic again.
Okay.
When we talk about this subconscious mind and the positivity, when you said, okay, you look always positive. Because you see, there are two kind of forces, those are there in this universe. Negative forces and positive forces. If you keep, and this body and this human body is a source of power. It has so much of energy. And if you are having negative energy within you, it will attract the negative energy from the universe. And if you have positivity, you will definitely attract the positivity. And you will secrete those positivity. So always you should have that kind of, say, attempt where you are only, say, spreading positivity. And that will definitely change your course also. Even if there are, say, challenges, that's why people say, okay, never say difficulties. Some people have that habit of saying, okay, I'm always cribbing, crying. You will find those people always cribbing, crying because they are attracting those negative energy only. So better be positive and find out a solution. Don't go on a path where you are, say, yourself becoming negative or spreading that negativity with other people.
Understood. These are truth bombs after truth bombs. Like all I can think of in my mind is like there's these clips of things that we're going to put out.
Yeah.
And because what you're saying is completely right. And so the amount we hear about it on the internet, right? There's like access, as you know, access of information. There's so much available. But when a person like you, from your standing, from your years of experience, says, we have to take it at not just face value, but you are coming from some background.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we were just talking about your positive attitude, that's obviously come because so many years of experience and going through so much. I want to know early stages of your life, way before you hit the whole entertainment media space and before you start thriving in your career, like during your industrial years. I want to know, उस time आपको काफी self doubt भी हुआ रहेगा. Every human generally goes through, right, growing up. Like how would you navigate through it?
So you see these wording, those are becoming now very popular in the younger generation and everything. We talk about mental health and everything. At that time, no such, we grown up in a, say, time or a period or era, you can say, where these kind of words were nowhere. But again, yes, one thing we always very confident of things. Yes, there are challenges and everything. But at the same time, the positivity again come into picture. Yes, it was a difficult journey and we were going through that. But the goal was very certain. Okay, what we need to achieve with. And we need to go through that hardships. So as and when these kind of situations were there, again, you calm down. And the generally at that time, what we learned, हमने अपने जो लोगों से सीखा, अपने जिन लोगों के साथ हमने पढ़ाई किया या जो अपने elders के साथ, whenever we are doing something, and if something is there which is disturbing you something, so just leave aside it at that time. Just calm down. Leave it for something, relax, and then attempt again. So that was the kind of old way of getting you, say, bringing back to the work. That kind of situation. And I think again, so many say today this issue is because of so much of options, because of so much of things those were not there at that time. एट दैट टाइम लाइफ बड़ा सिंपल सा है. ऑब्जेक्टिव आप पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, उसके बाद पढ़ाई करके यू आर टारगेटिंग कि ओके आप ये यू वांट टू डू समथिंग, वो किया, उसके बाद अपने आप करियर में आगे बढ़े. ऑनेस्टली यदि देखा जाए तो मेरी अपनी लाइफ की मैं बताऊं तो कभी ये फ्रेंडशिप का ये कहीं पे ये देखना है, वेरी लिमिटेड फ्रेंडशिप, फोकस्ड. सोसाइटी के अंदर किसी के ऐसा कुछ ज़्यादा रहता नहीं था. पढ़ाई किया, पढ़ाई करने के साथ ही प्रोफेशनल उसमें करियर में चले गए, वहाँ पर भी उतना ही वो फोकस्ड है. आज आई थिंक इट इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ द too many options also, and just, it is going to confuse the young generation.
Yeah, I was going to just come to that part. Yes. Do you think one of the main problems that all of us are going through these problems are because of the availability, the access, the options that we have?
Of course, yes, you are very right. And at the same time, I will also say because of the time of say, like, again I'll say the study or the syllabus or the pattern of education has changed drastic. While we are saying we are innovating and doing much more better, but I think the root of the things I still hold ki okay, the earlier education system, I'm not talking about the syllabus, I'm talking about the education system was much better.
What do you mean by that?
That you see at that time, if you see हमारे टाइम की यदि हम बात करें तो आप देखेंगे कि the one thing which I am missing completely, the respect what a student and a teacher was having at that time was immense. पेरेंट्स ने अपने टीचर्स को जाके, वो बच्चे के जो स्कूल में जाते थे कभी जाते थे, उन्होंने कभी उसको ये नहीं पूछा उनसे कभी करे कि आपने मेरे बेटे को डांट कैसे दिया या मेरी बेटी को डांट कैसे दिया. एट दैट टाइम द टीचर वॉज हैविंग इक्वल अथॉरिटी टू से वॉट एवर दे वॉन्ट टू से टू द टीचर, वो टू द स्टूडेंट. कभी जाके उन्होंने कभी पेरेंट्स ने जाके स्कूल में कभी टीचर से कभी लड़ाई नहीं किया इसके लिए कि आपने मेरे बेटे को डांटा कैसे, और थप्पड़ भी क्या उसके अंदर नहीं मार दिया. आजकल वो कभी थप्पड़ की तो बात दूर है, यदि वो कभी किसी को पेरेंट्स को, छोटे बच्चों को भी यदि उन्होंने कुछ बोल दिया, कहता मेरा बच्चा जो है स्ट्रेस्ड आउट हो गया. तो वी आर एक्चुअली समहाउ नॉट गिविंग द राइट काइंड ऑफ एनवायरमेंट टू द किड्स. वी आर मेकिंग देम टू सोफिस्टिकेटेड. And that sophistication is good, but at the same time, I think that toughness or those sort of thing, the respect has completely. Today, if you see, hardly if you find. I'm sorry, I'm talking to a younger person, but saying this thing, really I find कि where people are respecting to their teachers. They feel कि okay, they are there to do this job. They are doing their job. Beyond that, they don't have that respect. In our time, it was beyond that school timing. We still manage those relationships with our teachers. Still, they are, most of them are no more, but still we have that respect and say or the regard for those teachers. That is somehow missing. So while you say coming back to the main topic, mental health, so I think that we are only responsible for that because we are creating so many options. Or so many areas, those are actually not good for the growth. But somehow we want to live with this, and all these materialistic things only confusing this younger generation. And somehow we are juggling with all those kind of stuff.
Of course, having too many options is definitely a problem. I've realized because even when I started my business, it took me a long time to figure. Even like a long time. If for me a long time is 365 days a year, which is again like not a long time. But it took me some time to figure out what my exact calling in terms of what my business should offer as a service. Because I've had my times when I'm at a low where I try to figure out what is it that I can pursue that's going to make me happy firstly, and then second, how will it help my business thrive, right?
And how I can add value to my clients.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is one of the main things, of course, but before I can give value to someone, I need to know
Correct.
where I can create value for myself, right?
Very true.
And because the amount of options that we have right now, it's impossible to make the right decisions. So I would fully agree that I think though you might have had it like a lot tougher physically, you were still mentally at a place where you had limited options, so you can go through it, right? And that gives you so much perspective, because even in terms of making decisions, right? Like if you want to do 100 things, you cannot survive as a human being, right? At the end of the day, a person's a person. There's only so much that they can do.
So I'll take again with the relative example of the decision making of this in current era. At that time plus in this current era, the time when everything was at a standstill. Though my discussion with the promoters of Wizcraft, उनके साथ ये discussion चल रहा था पहले से कि ठीक है, I want to pursue this new career and
Sorry,
everything.
this was during the pandemic, the start
Just
of the pandemic.
before the pandemic.
Okay.
When say I shared my wish कि okay, I want to start something at my own, and it was settled कि okay, in March 2020 you will say that will be the period, because he said कि you have worked for so many years, तो इतने 11 साल लगेंगे तो समझने के लिए, सब कुछ करने के लिए, तो 5-6 महीने तो लगेगा. मैंने कहा मुझको भी कोई कहीं नौकरी तो करना नहीं है, अपना ही काम करना है, तो ठीक है, मुझे क्या दिक्कत है. But so nice of them on their part also when this happened. No one knows कि अगस्त सितंबर में किसको पता था कि मार्च 19 में कि मार्च 20 के अंदर ये ऐसा होने वाला है.
Absolutely.
But जब ये हुआ सारा, and again Andre Veera Sabhas asked me, are you still serious? Everything is shut, there is completely locked down, and are you still want to, or you can continue, otherwise we all will still and face this challenge and everything. I said, no, my decision is final and I want to pursue this. I really want to pursue, and I will take this time again to introspect what I should do and what I mean and what is my dream and desire to do. That again, जब कोई शुरू करता है काम तो उसको लगता है कुछ भी आएगा मेरे सामने तो मैं to earn money, because तो मुझे वो करना पड़ेगा शुरू में. But I decided again कि okay, what is my passion, what I want to do, what I don't want to do. Similarly, मुझको कौन रोक सकता था कि मैं कहता नहीं मैं ऑडिट भी करूँगा या टैक्स फाइलिंग भी करूँगा या सब कुछ करूँगा. I said, first of all, the first demarcation, I am not doing the old traditional CA practice. I will not do it. It is not my cup of tea. मैंने जो 27 साल निकाला, 28 साल निकाला कॉर्पोरेट में, मैंने कभी ऑडिट नहीं करवाया है. ऑडिट करा नहीं है तो मैं क्यों नया चीज़ शुरू करूँगा. जो मैंने 27 साल में किया, 28 साल में जो कॉर्पोरेट में किया, उसी ही की सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है जो सारे यंग जो बडिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, चाहे वो स्टार्टअप्स हैं या मिड साइज कंपनीज़ हैं या स्मॉल साइज कंपनीज़ हैं, तो मैं उनके साथ क्यों नहीं काम करूं और उनको क्यों नहीं डेवलप करूं. उनमें से कुछ मेरा ड्रीम है वो कि उनमें से मैंने यदि किसी को कुछ को ग्रो किया, उनको कॉर्पोरेट बनाया, उनमें से कुछ ऐसे स्टार्टअप्स हैं जो यूनिकॉर्न हुए, तो दैट विल बी माई से द बिगेस्ट सक्सेस. और मेरी वो विश है कि ऐसा होना चाहिए कि इस जर्नी के अंदर की, और मेरी ग्रोथ अगेन जैसे कहते हैं कि व्हाट इज योर टारगेट, तो मैं मानता हूँ दैट इज एक्चुअली माई सक्सेस इज एन अ बाई प्रोडक्ट. इफ आई एम फोकसिंग टू मेक समथिंग समवन एल्स ग्रो, आई विल ऑटोमेटिकली ग्रो. तो वाई आई शुड जस्ट फोकस कि नहीं आई शुड बी अ सक्सेसफुल person. What is the definition of success? I feel today I am success if I am in peace of mind. I can sleep sound without having any pills, or eating well, not whatever I am trying to do. I am healthy and God has kept me healthy. That I am a successful person. But unfortunately, the definition of success most of the people only take with the money what a person has earned. That again is a illusion only. Because the definition and parameter of success is, okay, if this person has earned more money, so then it is successful. No one want to say what means he used to earn that money. So money can't be the barometer of your success.
One of the things I read, something very similar to what you just said, was when you die, everything, even your body is gone, only your mental faculties go with you, right? So when you say these things, I can completely understand where it comes from. Obviously it must have been very challenging for you to take that big risk of pivoting. आपके इतने सारे years का experience है जो आपने as a chartered accountant spend किए थे, उससे transition करना, obviously that decision must have come because while you were working with Wizcraft, आपने काफ़ी चीज़ें encounter की होंगी, right? You were working with them for 10 years, 11 years, sorry?
11 years.
11 years, yeah.
11 years.
11 years. Before that, everything, as you mentioned, right, led to that point. So I want to know, obviously, in these 11 years, you must have seen, like, from the biggest events in the country to the biggest deals happening in front of you while you auditing, while you assisting on those situations, while you also, again, spearheading a lot of those, right? I'm sure some of it is something you can't discuss. But intensity तो obviously बहुत ही ज़्यादा हो सकती है compared to again like beginning as a startup. So I want to know what your journey was like. Firstly, are you now looking back at those 11 years, would you say you made the right decision in terms of entering the media space?
So again, the decision of coming to Wizcraft, it was not again a very decision, you can say ki okay, a calculated decision.
Okay.
Because a person to whom I say always look and aspire to, he is my mentor. He just instructed me ki okay, there is one company in Mumbai. Because I was all along before coming to Wizcraft, I was in Delhi only and running my entire say career, whether education and everything in and around Delhi. During this time, he instructed me कि okay, there is a company to who I know and they need some help and guidance where you can mentor them and then advise them. So can you go there and then just see what can be done for them? And one fine day he called me and he gave these instructions to me when I was coming from my office back to say from my office going to home. I said okay, and while discussing this he said ki okay, next day morning he just instructed someone and then I got my ticket at home. I said ki tomorrow morning you go there. So this again is the kind of respect someone is saying that, and we as coming from that era, so I can't say no to him. Coming to a company where I don't know anyone, and that was not the idea ki okay, I'm going to join them. I came here, just spent few days, 5-6 days and 7 days and understood and then give all those say my reviews or my suggestion ki okay, what they should do, what they should not do, etc., and went back. At that time, they were all three, Andre, Raf and Sabas, they just were behind my mentor, Mr. Praveen Sharma, and he was behind him ki okay, we want this person, he should come and join us, we need desperately. Then he said ki okay, Dinesh, I think you should go there and work for them. I said my whole entire family, I don't know anything, I've never stayed there, everyone is here. So then he said ki okay, you find out some way and everything and then just work for them. So I came here and joined. Before that, I was not aware anything about media entertainment, nothing. But one thing was for sure ki okay, I was confident of my role or my position as a professional, as a chartered accountant. I know what role I need to do. So like incidentally, I'll just tell you एक incident भी उसी समय के लिए बताता हूँ. Initial period के अंदर जब हुआ तो I started putting certain things in order, etc. One fine day, one person just rushed to my, he opened the door and just said कि okay, you are doing this, that. Do you know anything about this industry? कैसे काम होता है, क्या होता है, आप कुछ भी अपनी चीज़ें चला रहे हो. तो मैंने बस you are right. I don't know anything about this industry. But I know my role. I know what I need to do. Finance I know very well. And finance, the process may be different for other industries. लेकिन finance का कलर तो रुपए का कलर तो एक ही है और वो फंक्शन मुझे अच्छे से आता है. तो don't tell me what I need to do. This I can learn during that process. तो अपना काम मुझे पता है कि कैसे होता है और मैंने across industries काम किया. Or incidentally, again, I will say कि I was blessed. I never run away with my challenges and thing. And I think that made really say to bring best out of me कि जब भी ये कभी हुआ तो उस इंडस्ट्री में जहाँ पे एक आप अगेन यू आर वर्किंग अ कंपनी वेयर एवरीवन एस्पायर टू वर्क. विस्क्राफ्ट वाज ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू सी कि ओके जो इवेंट मैनेजर्स है सब कुछ है वो कहते हैं दे आर नोन एज फादर ऑफ दिस इंडस्ट्री, दे क्रिएटेड दिस इंडस्ट्री. तो उनके साथ काम, लेकिन अगेन एज यू राइटली सेड कंप्लीटली अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड, सब कुछ भी चीज़ नहीं होता है अलग कंप्लीटली ऑर्गेनाइज. तो कुछ भी चीज़ करने के लिए ऐसी जगह, तो एक तो तरीका होता है रे कुछ नहीं होता है, आई विल गिव अप एंड आई कांट डू इट. आई सेड नो, I think it is an opportunity where you can set the processes and everything.
Yeah, especially if with your background coming from industrial sectors
Correct.
where everything is so organized.
Yeah, organized.
To moving,
Correct.
we're a whole industry. It's not a companies or 5 companies. It's the whole industry
Yes.
which doesn't have SOPs or like protocols
Correct.
in place.
So in that case, first of all, making those changes in the organization by force sometime, and then slowly people, once they start working with you, they start respecting you. Okay, your intent is right. What you are saying is it makes some sense, and it is going to make everyone's life easy after some time. All those kind of things happen, and slowly all of a sudden, because every company and every event manager aspire ki okay what Wizcraft is doing, thereafter they started following all those things. So like certain things where in the beginning when I started ki okay we will establish a commercial department.
Okay.
तो event manager said कि क्या कॉमर्शियल डिपार्टमेंट, हमें अपने आप करना होता है, अपने आप ही हम वेंडर को लेके आते हैं, अपने आप ही हम इवेंट करते हैं और अपने आप ही बिल अप्रूव कर देते हैं. सर नहीं, देयर इज अ रीजन एंड लॉजिक व्हाई हम वी शुड डू इट. किया हमने वो वैसा, देयर आफ्टर नाउ इट बिकम ए ट्रेंड. तो उस समय से जहाँ बहुत सारे ट्रांजेक्शन्स हैं, जो लोग कहते हैं नहीं वो चेक से पेमेंट नहीं लेंगे, आर्टिस्ट के साथ होता है बहुत सारा बार में, उनके स्टाफ का पेमेंट नहीं होगा, आपको भी वो एक्सपीरियंस होगा. But we set all those processes ki how everything can be say properly documented. It should be supported with right documents and information, and how it can be done. So and these things actually, these challenges, and when you look back now, so look ki okay, at least you have, I'll not say ki I have done it, because it is the entire team and the support of the promoters. But ultimately it is somehow at some point of time it will come ki okay someone initiated these things and it becomes a trend, and now after 5 years, 15-20 years down the line, it will become a say norm.
Agreed. It's a one person taking the responsibility of like doing something. That's setting right. a process in place, and suddenly it's a norm for everybody else.
That's right.
And I'm sure it must have been like a very difficult task, because right now, even after so many years of the industry being present, right, if there are basic let's say processes that me as a smaller agency, as just a boutique startup, a marketing agency, wanting to set, let's say, a few service agreements in place with one of our clients, right? It's a challenging job because they don't have processes in place for something like this.
Correct.
Where for them it's easier. Again, they have nothing to lose, right? They're getting an invoice which they clear. There are no payment terms. There are no timelines, strict timelines. There's no one who's going to enforce those timelines as True. A body. Like True. Everywhere across the world, there are these guilds, there are these smaller unions in place who enforce these things. Unfortunately, True. In our country, even if there are, they're not present for all the smaller companies. True. So obviously, it's a difficult task. And when I try to implement this internally in my company and try to get someone externally to be a part of this, I'm always asked a question like, okay, sab aisa kar rahe, to hum kyun aisa kare? Like chalta hai, you know, the chalta hai attitude. That's very, very, like I would say, prevalent in the industry that we, again, it's like a bifurcation of many industries coming to the same space, media, entertainment, right?
So I have 2 rules for this, okay. which I always followed. Even मैंने आपको थोड़े टाइम के पहले बोला कि when I got an opportunity to work like a government job and everything, so I asked only one question to the HR of that company. I went there, I said कि you tell me one thing, कि what is the process where I can fast track using my knowledge and everything, up to what position I can reach out by giving exams and everything. So that lady told me, okay, the exam for the position what you are being appointed for is the highest exam which is possible in this organization. So now thereafter you will only get promotion according to your experience and everything, and not with your exposure and everything. It will be the document, like in government organization you have, okay, after 5 years you will become this, that, and then reservation X, Y or Z. I said, then what is the point? So I took a decision at young age at that time, and it was just, I think 1 or 2 years of a start of my career. I said, if I want to make a difference to the world, maybe if I join this organization, maybe money wise I may be settled or very cozy job, satisfaction, but as a professional, where I will get the satisfaction? And I won't be able to change this nepotism or the kind of system this organization has. Or after some point of time, I will frustrate myself and I will use the same, I will become part of that system. So I said, instead of doing so, I will join a sector or organization or something where I will make the difference. At least it will not be a large, but at least to that particular organization or a society or a industry, I will make that difference.
So it's like a reverse psychology. Correct. Where you choose to enter a space which is unorganized so you can implement
Correct.
your ways.
And at that time, I was never aware that, okay, at some point of time, I will say join an organization where ultimately with the organization, you will change the course of the industry also. And earlier also, like when I said I worked with a textile company also, so it was at a time when this industry they were starting that factory. And they were not having any experience of, say, putting a textile company over there. I went even to their associations, read the books, what the system and I designed the system and processes after reading the books where I was not having any textile experience. And I can say proudly that still those system and processes are running in those factories. So somehow that was a flair, or sometimes the determination also ki what I want to do. I am here to make some change, and God gave me those opportunities, again that positivity, कि whatever you determine and think, somehow or other it will come your way. And I got that opportunity to do that. Similarly, now that I have that dream, when I am saying for these startups or something, again I want to make that change. When I interact with new people, sometimes I said ki okay, my company provide virtual CFO services, or we do this and that. They said okay, ये तो सब ठीक है, but काम क्या करेंगे आप? तो I said कि okay, but at the same time one of my client, he is from Delhi, और वो बोलते हैं कि दिनेश जी 6 महीने काम करने के बाद मुझे समझ में आया कि क्या मिस हो रहा था. तो they hired our services for a project कि okay, हम खाली आपके साथ 3 महीने करेंगे, आप ये हमें करके देंगे. और 3 या 4 महीने के लिए उन्होंने बोला, और जब वो खत्म होने लगा पीरियड, तो मैंने कहा अमित जी कि वी हैव कंप्लीटेड आवर थिंग इज, कह रहे, तो उन्होंने मुझे बोला कि दिनेश जी मैं ये सोच नहीं पा रहा हूँ कि अभी हम आपके बिना काम कैसे करेंगे. वी नीड टू कंटिन्यू दिस एंड वी नो ओके व्हाट वी आर गेटिंग नाउ. तो दोज काइंड ऑफ थिंग ऑलवेज गिव अ मोटिवेशन एंड इंस्पिरेशन कि ओके यू आर ऑन राइट ट्रैक. But these things never make me like feeling very comfortable. I always strive कि okay, what is next, what we should provide. It's not like okay, बहुत बार होता है कि वो कहते हैं ना ये scope of work or something, तो मैं कहता हूँ ये खाली जिस दिन engagement करते हैं ना उस दिन के लिए, इसके बाद मैं कभी इसको देखता नहीं हूँ. यदि ये देखूंगा तो मैं वो नहीं कर पाऊंगा जो मैं पैशनेट हूँ करने के लिए. Absolutely. तो आपको हमेशा जो मैं दूंगा, इससे ज्यादा जो मिलने वाला है हमेशा उससे ज्यादा ही मिलने वाला है, वो उससे कम नहीं होगा कभी. तो दैट इज द काइंड ऑफ पैशन. आई एम नॉट डूइंग, अगेन द ऑब्जेक्टिव इज नॉट टू अर्न मनी. मैं वो मानता हूँ वो एक्चुअली एक बाई प्रोडक्ट है, वो अपने आप होगा आपके पास. दैट इज मीन्स माई स्टाइल ऑफ फंक्शनिंग एंड थॉट प्रोसेस.
अंडरस्टूड. सो यू एनीवेयर लाइक as a bottom line, whenever you've been working, you've never come across people who've tried to like push you to ये ऐसा चल रहा है, let's stick to this, it's more profitable. You have come with an ideology कि I want to set these systems in place, I want to make these changes, मैं यही करके I will move forward, right?
Correct. So never gone into the shortcuts.
Yes, but you think that's paid off? Like,
yes.
I'm sure there have been instances where because I come across a lot of this, especially in our space, I would say there are so many opportunities to make money, doing, I wouldn't say the wrong things, but let's say doing the things which are not very ethical, right? So I'm sure you being at that level, you must have come across so many opportunities. And again, knowing as much as I know you, the integrity is something you uphold a lot, right? So I'm sure like there have been instances where you've had to make a conscious decision ki now do I choose to uphold my integrity or do I choose to use a shortcut like you just said, right?
So in those cases, again, thanks to the people with whom I worked, again, the taking example, because last 11 years and they always treated me like a family. So they gave me that freedom and always say, they never made me realize, ki, okay, I am just a the employee of the organization. They always treated me part of the family, part of the organization and the decision maker. They used to say, ki, okay, he is the, everyone knows, you say, used to know ki I am the fourth person who can take after Andre Office Sabha, who can take any call. And for certain things, I can't name, but at the same time, at one position, we were, say, me and Andre, we were there for negotiation of a big contract with a government official, senior government official. And at that time, say, he got some emergency and he was supposed to flew back. So he, without telling that principal secretary, he said, ki, okay, Dinesh, you will handle it. And I'm not telling him, otherwise it will be a difficult situation. But you need to close and do everything. Next day when we met him in his office, and while doing this, where is Andre? So I just said, ki, sir, there was something very urgent and he was supposed to go back. So I said, ki, then let's postpone this meeting. And because his presence is required for this, because I need to discuss
As a
certain,
signatory also.
not only signatory. He said ki certain decision where he need to say yes or no, I have certain points.
Okay.
So sir, with all due respect, he has given me that authority, or I can take those calls. It was a huge, big contract. So he said, are you sure? So I said, yes, sir, we can do that. So I was the alone person over there. So he said, then he called his complete legal department, his secretarial department, that because the contract was to be negotiated. So he said, okay, then you, where is your legal team and everything? I said, sir, I will do that thing because I do for my organization everything. So I negotiated all that thing, make him sign all those contract, negotiated well. And I said, ki, sir, you give this copy, I will take it back, get it signed by Andre, and then give it back to you. So this is the kind of, say, like again, confidence, or while you say ethical or something, like while I was discussing certain things with the principal secretary, but it never deterred me to say, if I was supposed to discuss certain things, I was discussing with him. And I got that opportunity to sit and discuss these things with the biggest of the positions of this country as well as across the globe. While whether it is negotiations, whether it is legal contracts, etc., etc., I did all that kind of stuff. And it, believe me or not, in longer run, it always help. When shortcut is never going to help. And in one case, again, we say face those things where after, say, working for a very big project, government project, where controversy was there and everything said, okay, Wizcraft did this. When the actual investigation and everything happened, because of our systematic approach and everything, we very, say, successfully were able to convince them, okay, what was our role.
One of the most important things I can't even, again, everything in terms of a human experience is out there and it's available. Something that people don't talk about openly is being involved in the ground level work. Like, for example, taking Wizcraft as an example of your journey, right? I'm sure you've been involved and you've been in the rooms where contracts for hundreds of crores have been negotiated. I know Wizcraft has done some of the biggest events in the country, from an IFA to whatever, like the sporting events that have happened, right? I can't even imagine the intensity, or I wouldn't say stress, but the kind of focus you might be requiring. Because from point A, from the introduction meeting, having the minutes in place, to B, to drafting like an entire terms and conditions, to see execution of it, making sure it's understood by everyone in the organization. It's a whole process that takes time, right? I want to know from your experience if you can talk about, if you can't give out names, it's fine, but if something specific where it actually is like a part of your life which you are going to easily be able to visualize for the rest of your life, because it either added stress or somehow after the completion of the whole process you felt like okay, this has been something, that you get that hush feeling where you're like, okay, now this is done. Now it's actually going to become from, let's say, a contract to a reality. I want to know like a physical experience that you might have had on those lines.
So this kind of situations, say incidentally, and had not come once, but so many times.
Of course.
Again, if we talk about okay, like IFA travels across the globe.
Yes.
So every time you are negotiating, sitting in a different country and doing, you need to know the taxation aspects, the legal aspects, and every time you are discussing with to take care of their requirements, as well as you need to ensure that your interest is also protected, your organization interest is also protected. You need to initiate, convince them that, okay, what things are. And while doing this, again, you need to be very clear that, okay, what my deliverables are. And again, as an organization, you are not committing something which tomorrow may create an issue for you, because ultimately you are signing a document. So as you identified, okay, you need to be very focused what you are committing. It need to be aligned with the entire operational teams, because it need to be, you are signing something, but unless until the same is being communicated to the person, because ultimately after signing they need to deliver. The communication and the passing on that complete requirements to that team is also very important. And ultimately the execution. So you are just not involved. Say, though I was the CFO of the company, but at the same time, as you say, asked, okay, your involvement from that beginning of starting of a contract or negotiating of a contract till the final execution, you are actually involved in the operations. First, the legal execution, then the project management, means someone need to hold that finance and that, okay, everything is aligned with the main contract. Well, you are contracting with the, say for example, with your sponsors, you are contracting with the service providers or the artist, etc. Every time everything need to be aligned with the main deliverables. And ultimately then ensuring the interest protection also of that. Say, like again, example, at some point of time in one say of the such incidents, it happens ki, okay, everything is set and the education, say final execution is happening, and 2 days after the event is going to take place, and all of a sudden one incidence of flood in a city disturb the entire aspects. All of a sudden you need to ensure, okay, whether your risk is protected or not, because if you need to defer that event. But had any person at that particular time envisaged ki, okay, this kind of situation will come? But you as a head of the say finance and accounts department, head of the department, you need to ensure and envisage all these kind of situation and ensure those are protected. So we discuss those matters. We say defer those. Say we declared ki, okay, this event will be postponed now.
Yeah, like I can't even think of the force majeure, that's what
Correct.
you call, right? In contracts for hundreds of crores,
Correct.
like what do you do in
Correct.
such a situation?
So now in that situation, again the interesting part of in this case, and that still the insurance people sometimes talk to me, ki, okay, Dinesh ji, still we can't understand ki the flood was in a different city, your event was in a different city, why this event was postponed because of flood in another city, and still you postponed and successfully claim the insurance claim also for that. So those kind of situation you need, again, you need to get involved in the process and everything. And that again, I want to say for like a young entrepreneur like you, and through your podcast to the youngsters, whether professional or the entrepreneur, one thing what we miss, sometime while we go into a function, we miss the totality of a concept or the thought process behind it. If a person is a CA, normally I have seen and particularly the youngsters, they said, "Mera role itna hi hai." They don't want to see beyond that. I feel any person, any professional or a simple whosoever is working in an organization, unless until he start thinking in a totality of a situation, they can't progress. Particularly for professionals. So the youngsters, those work with me and my team, I always say, okay, unless until you have the complete clarity, आपको फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट के लिए काम करना है, लेकिन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का बिजनेस ही आपने नहीं समझा तो कैसे काम करेंगे आप?
Understood.
तो सेम थिंग, चाहे मैंने मीडिया एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए काम किया या टेक्सटाइल के लिए किया या टायर इंडस्ट्री के लिए किया या FMCG के लिए किया, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द बिजनेस. अनलेस अनटिल यू अंडरस्टैंड द बिजनेस, हाउ यू विल गिव द सॉल्यूशन? बिकॉज मुझे खाली डिक्टेट नहीं करना है, ऐसा होना है ऐसा होना है. मुझे आई नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द इशूज एंड द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ अदर पीपल ऑल्सो एंड देन गिव द सॉल्यूशन. एंड यही मेरा एक किसी ने पूछा मेरे से जब मैं व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग माई सॉट एनालिसिस कि ओके मुझे ये करना है, जब मैं आपको बता रहा था कि ये क्यों प्रैक्टिस में नहीं जाना यार, क्यों करना है, तो मैंने बोला कि सोचा मन में अपने, और जस्ट पहली बार मैं शेयर कर रहा हूँ वो भी किसी से कि, तो मैंने उसमें ऐसा सोचा कि ये जो कोई भी चीज़ हो रहा है, तो जो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि मैं ये जो CFO सर्विसेज देने वाला हूँ, तो कोई भी प्रैक्टिसिंग जो CAs हैं वो भी कह सकते हैं कि हाँ मैं ये सर्विसेज तो हम भी दे सकते हैं, हम तो प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं. तो देन आई आइडेंटिफाई ओके व्हाट इज दैट वन थिंग और द बैरियर विच विल डिफरेंशिएट इट. तो आई identified कि okay, the people those are in practice or those are the practicing CAs, they have never gone through the corporate culture and they don't know the nitty-gritty of a corporate culture. मैंने अपना पूरा करियर इसमें लगाया है, तो और वो हमेशा अदर साइड ऑफ द टेबल बैठे हैं. उन्होंने हमेशा जो चीज़ें देखी हैं उसको एक ऑडिटर की आइज से देखा है, उसको नॉट एग्जीक्यूटर की आइज से देखा है. तो दैट इज़ अ डिफरेंशिएटर. और विद माई एक्सपीरियंस आई नो कि किसी भी जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं उनके अंदर हाउ वी कैन ब्रिंग द चेंज. और मेरा जो ड्रीम भी है, जैसे वो एक कई बार कहते हैं आदत हो जाती है आपको, मुझे जो स्मूथ चल रहे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या जो अच्छा से कर रहे हैं वो दे आर नॉट माई टारगेटेड क्लाइंट्स. आई वॉन्ट विद दैम जो कहीं ना कहीं उनके अंदर पोटेंशियल है, दे वॉन्ट टू ग्रो लाइक मिकेत, ही हैज़ ए विजन एंड एवरीथिंग. आई वॉन्ट टू मेक देम ग्रो, बट मैं उनके साथ में उनको जो चीज़ उनके साथ मिस हो रही है, इसको विद माई एक्सपीरियंस आई वॉन्ट टू से एक्सपीडाइट द एंटायर प्रोसेस एंड टू मेक देयर जर्नी फास्टर. दैट इज माई ultimate objective for that.
That's a very fresh perspective, because it's easier for someone to just do what they've been doing for the last 20-30 years and then turn that into a business and now I'll do this, right? You firstly identified that during the pandemic things are going differently, decided to pivot, and third, now you are in a position where you have like a vision which is again may or may not be a longer one, in terms of, because you have that experience, it's easier for you to achieve a certain things faster than compared to if someone's starting the same level at a same service, same business with a same scope of services at an earlier age, right? Firstly, what made you think that okay, this is something that's the need of the hour? Like, because like you just said, right, there are people who are again who would just want to give CFO services. What made you think differently, and what made you actually realize, okay, why should I not just go in the same direction and do something entirely new? Like, yes, there was that pivot, and again, even with regards to your business, from what I understand, it's now a company that consults a lot of people and businesses in the entertainment business and helps them A, monetize, and B, negotiate contracts. So I want to just get a little more in depth in those two things.
Okay, so in this case again, the entrepreneurs, those are the young and the budding entrepreneurs, or even those are running in a mid-size and small-size companies. Certain strategic business decisions, you see, they are taking those decisions as an entrepreneur, and it is not necessary कि every time कि what they need a help or assistance of a person to whom they can discuss, who has an experience, and they can say beyond a particular say like the vision of a particular thing, and they need to discuss those aspects or strategies with someone. If they hire, and the concept of this virtual CFO was कि in bigger corporates they can afford, the affordability is a big question. They can have these people, like when I was there, so we were there with the concept कि okay, for longer period they can afford the salaries and everything for professionals like us, but the smaller organization they can't. And to whom they go, and even if they want to avail those services at that time, the affordability again. And first of all, to whom should they go, and the affordability. So this kind of concept, I'll not say कि I have initiated, but I know, and believe me or not, say 5 year, 10 year down the line, you will find more and more professionals identifying this particular aspect from a traditional, and they will come to these areas and they will do it.
Yeah, it's like for the first time, or maybe it's done outside, but from what I'm hearing, I as a business owner, I'm ready to outsource an entire entire, I would say, job profile to a company.
That's
like
right.
For services, yes, there have been companies who provide services, but this is like giving an exact role in my company internally.
Correct.
To an existing
So
company.
in nutshell, I can say कि with the companies with say we are working at present and my team is working in a way, यदि एक लेमन लैंग्वेज में बोले तो उनसे बोलें कि आप अपने फाइनेंस के वर्क के लिए, अपनी जो कंप्लाइंसेस हैं उनके वर्क के लिए, यू नीड नॉट टू वरी, एंड योर बिजनेस स्ट्रेटजी एंड एवरीथिंग, one stop solution we can provide. Even for your negotiation of your contracts, your HR related need, you just hire us. We will take care of all you focus on the growth of your business, rest we are there to take care.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. And the clients, what are the kind of clients you're working with right now?
Say again larger, because my last 11 years I spent with in media entertainment. So while say the good thing again, thanks to again Sabas, when I left Wizcraft, so, and it very rarely happened, he introduced me to the entire media industry.
Wow.
He put a message, there is a owners group, WhatsApp group, where all top event industry owners are there in that group. He said, Dinesh, our CFO, who has worked with us for 11 years, so we were having an exclusivity with him कि he was providing these services to us. Now he is available to you at large to share his wealth of knowledge and everything. And I took a webinar at that time. I still remember on 9th or 10th of April at that particular point of time. And so he said कि Dinesh, you should share your thoughts कि in this tough time what they should do during this tough time. So I shared my thought process ki for this, because it was completely a new thing for everyone. Everyone was not aware ki okay, what is going to be the longevity of this COVID and what should be the. So I shared at that time a presentation with everyone and my thought process ki how they should prepare themselves for this. So my 2-3 key things was there ki you preserve your resources, think ki okay, it is going to last for very long, and you need to ensure ki okay, how alternate source of businesses you can do, because ground events, at least for 8-10 months there will be no events. It is my view, my point. And incidentally that 8-10 went for almost 2 years. Nothing had happened during that time.
One
very
of the most
rarely
affected industry.
Correct.
Was
Event industry. So that was a thing I am indebted to that particular gesture on the part of Sabas. He did at that time. And through that, people, those were really, feeling the services. So today, fortunately, I can say a few of the biggest names with whom, I'm working in this industry and providing services for, through my company YCBA.
Wow. And it's two parts where firstly, obviously, a former employer supporting your current endeavor is when you know you're really appreciated, and second, when people at that stature decide to be your clients, right?
Yes.
And again, one of the few of the things I know, unfortunately I can't name drop, but I know the kind of clients you're working with. I wish I could name drop, but it's the transition from, again, on a day-to-day basis, communicating and advising, or like even working with the same set of people for 11 years, to moving to, okay, now I am an entrepreneur who has to not only at the same time, like you were just mentioning right before, that it's very important to have your mind space in a certain direction if you want to work on it. If you can't, then you have to switch off. But when you're working with 5 different clients here, as opposed to last 11 years when you worked on the same people for the entirety of that journey, how do you really work on that shift? And has it something that's been challenging, or you take it more as like a fun task?
So you see, I again, while I was working, one more secret I want to share with you. Say, I never worked just like as an employee, or just working for my job. I always worked with that passion, and I think that passion drives me to do that thing. Even when I was doing, I was happily doing what I was supposed to do, and why I was doing more, not for any other thing, but because I was having that passion. So even today, and that passion only actually drove me to come to start this entrepreneurial journey. Otherwise, everyone after having that, okay, you are getting cozy job, or getting good salary, at from every month you are getting a good amount of check and everything, and your life is sorted. You are traveling across the globe, meeting the biggest of the celebrities and everything. So what else you need? Staying in 5 stars? I said no, it is enough now. Yeah, let's do something. And that actually the drive is something different. So if you are, and that can only happen if you are passionate about what you want to do it. For two reasons. One, sometimes you should not be overconfident. To test myself also, I did it for that thing also. I should know, okay, sometimes you get overconfident, okay, I can do this, I can do this. Okay, if you are really worth of it, you test yourself, and at your own cost. You take a decision. If you really feel you can do it, you will be successful. If not, still you are learning, okay, you are not worth of what you were thinking.
It obviously, given the fact that you have so much experience, the challenges are being overcome as and when you're moving towards in a certain direction with your business. Again, like I said, there's just so many interesting and exciting things happening. I wish I could talk about it openly, but we can't. Someday maybe we'll have to do another conversation where we openly talk about these, because especially like people need to know, right? Like right now, the companies, the smaller agencies, as startups as you call them, even the individual freelancers or even artists, creators, etc., they have so much on the line when they're going there on their own. There needs to be case studies, I would say, present like yours, where they can not only get access to information but also seek inspiration from, and again stay motivated all the time. One of the biggest challenges I feel right now that exists for any sort of creative in the space is how to monetize your passion. I want to know specifically, again, this is something that will be very personal to me as well, I feel. As a business, what do you think are the right things to do in terms of A, identifying what are my revenue channels, and B, whether it's scalable or not? Like, of course, making money is one thing versus getting paid what you're worth is another thing. So I want to know, how do you help, maybe how do you help your clients, or like what do you think is, as a general idea, is the direction everyone needs to go through?
I will try to answer your second question first, and that
Okay.
again as a message to the young generation and young entrepreneurs of creatives and everyone. 2-3 things. Actually, it is very simple. First of all, you should know your real strength. Sometimes we are under illusion. We think we are where you should know, okay, if someone say, like, if someone is a singer or someone is a music composer, they should really know their strengths. And that introspection is very, very necessary. And we should not just have an illusion of, okay, I am a very big singer. If you are really, really good, believe me or not, people will come to you. And you take example of any big say celebrity or the singers, all those have come. It is their hard work, the quality of the content what they are creating, or someone is a music or music composer or a singer. You need to be unique and something special of your own should be there. Don't copy anyone. Try to be as original as you can and make your best efforts. Never hesitate to correct yourself. Sometimes we don't want to correct. We, again, because of illusion. If you are doing that, rest of the things, someone says ki, okay, I was attending, say, last week this conference, Mr. Tarsim, he arranged this brand and entertainment. And this was one of the question when someone asked to Basha also, and Universal's say head was also there, and it was being asked. The same thing exactly, he said, if you are honest to your thing, don't go with the things ki okay, how many likes are there on my content, how many say people have viewed my video. If you are really sincere about things, rest of the things will follow on you. But you should be first of all focused and know your subject or your ultimate product, ki what you can deliver to the people. You should be very focused on that.
Yeah.
I think that will make your life easier, because what is happening with the young generation, we are, say, instead of in this, we are diluting the main essence of it. We are going with that, ki, okay, they are daily calculating, ki, okay, these many views I want, how many people can promote, or if I bring this, say, song, what will be the quality of the video, whether the video is the say key to success of a song.
Yeah,
no,
there's one fixed marketing solution.
Correct.
One creates, everyone copies it. No one wants to look at creativity.
That's right. And still, because you are in this industry, you know ki the biggest of the song, again, one of my client, he is and when I was chatting to him, he himself said, I rejected that person. Is a regional song and the most viewed song. No one has. So this criteria of this success is not based on this just fixed line. It can give you a, say, guidance or a hint only. These are not, there is no fixed formula of success of any song or content. The only thing is you can continuously make your best attempt. Like biggest of the directors and the producers of this country, when they make movie, there is a, say, like a fix ki, okay, if this person has made this movie, so it will be a success or hit. No. Again, what is the king? Content is the king. If you are really honest about your content and the quality of the content and the person those are delivering it, that makes the difference.
So it's the art, the service, or whatever doing backed by a purpose.
Correct.
Absolutely. And you naming some people like Bacha, the perfect example of how monetizing your craft helps you, right?
Of course.
There's a very wrong illusion that everyone's created since generations about how musicians can't make money. But someone like a Bacha who's been in the industry for not that long, but he has made himself a financial pillar also. Like
again, the second example again with my clients. If you say, see the difference of, like earlier people say, okay, musician or the singers. Take an example of Arijit Singh. Today, what Arijit Singh is, Arijit is Arijit. Has he doing something just to make him popular? What is making him popular?
His music.
Again, his music.
Yeah, he's one of the artists who's known for having a very strong integrity, like in himself, because he won't, like, no matter how much money you offer him, he won't do anything which is not true to him.
So that's why I'm saying, if you are stick to your roots, again, the life is actually, we have complicated the life. Still, it is very simple. If you stick to your roots, hold to your basic ethical values, success is given. It may take time, but it is given for sure. But your honest should be attempt, and you actually, you know, okay, I am worth it. Then make attempt.
Understood. That's very, very deep. I'm very, very grateful to have this opportunity. And I can just go on with the conversation. Like there's so much more, right? Like obviously we have to do these over like multiple settings. Unfortunately, there's like a camera time constraint
Yes.
that we have, and I'm sure you are also a very busy person, so I'm
Yeah.
sure you have plans after this.
Yeah, yeah.
To go to. One thing I want to just ask before we can end this conversation is, how can I convince you to join social media? Why aren't you on it?
Again, again, you see, I'm focusing which I'm supposed to. I have a dream. Ki, okay, my dream is to say live with what I'm doing for my clients. Even at that time, like when I was with this glamour or something, I stayed away with this, and that I have again learned with the people. I always feel happy behind the scenes, but that doesn't mean ki, okay, I don't want to share my wealth of knowledge. It will spread. And again, I will just quote one thing when while I was interpreting, or okay, I should do, or what should I do. So this was exactly the one question I asked to one of my friend. I said, I worked for so many years in this industry. Mumbai is a city I came when I joined Wizcraft. And when I'm taking this decision, I don't know anyone. So he only said one line, and that boosted my confidence like anything. He said, Dineshji, you don't know the people, but people in the industry know you. Who is behind Wizcraft, this glory and the success and everything. And that boosted my confidence actually. So same thing. If you are really sincere about these things, rest everything, people will know you. Why I need to tell people, ki, okay, who am I? If that on the way will come automatically.
Wow, that is so true. Thank you for giving me your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you about everything you discussed today. Hopefully, sometime soon we can do another round.
Sure.